Yes, ma'am.
are the only persons who can address parole, and that no one can guarantee parole no matter what anyone has told you.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that there may be other adverse or unfavorable consequences as a result of this guilty plea conviction, just as there would be from a conviction following a trial? For example, your guilty plea may affect your right to vote, your right to hold public office, your right to serve on a jury, your right to obtain a passport, your right to receive, possess, or transport a firearm, and your right or ability to obtain employment. Do you understand that these rights may be affected?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty to a felony, if you use, receive, possess, or transport a firearm, or use a firearm in a crime, you will be guilty of another felony, which may carry a sentence of 1 to 15 years in prison?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you waive any and all defenses, including any mental health defenses, by entering a plea of guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you went to trial, you would have the right to trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and confront witnesses called to testify against you, and the right to remain silent and not incriminate yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you are giving up the following rights: the right to a trial by jury, the right to remain silent and not incriminate yourself, the right to confront witnesses against you, the right to the assistance of counsel hired by you or to court-appointed counsel if you cannot afford an attorney at a trial of your case, the right to the presumption of innocence, the right to testify on your own behalf and to present other evidence, the right to subpoena witnesses and compel the production of evidence, the right to have the charges against you proven beyond a reasonable doubt, and the right to appeal if convicted of these charges after a trial. Do you understand that you are giving up all of these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm showing you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 1AS. Do you recognize the document in State's Exhibit 1AS?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that your signature on page 7 of 7 of State's Exhibit 1AS?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this time, actually, and Mr. Sledge, have you had an opportunity to review each and every provision within State's Exhibit 1AS?
Yes, ma'am.
As reflected on State's Exhibit 1AS, the current charges that you face are count 1, conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, and count 30, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon previously convicted of a felony involving the use or possession of a firearm, OCGA 16-11-133. The negotiated sentence as outlined in State's 1AS is count 1, 15 years on probation, and count 30, sentencing withheld until the completion of the initial trial of this case. After the initial trial of this case, provided defendant has complied with the special conditions outlined in Section B as in boy, C as in Charlie, D as in Delta, F as in Frank, I as in Indigo of Section 3 special conditions of sentence of this plea agreement, the state agrees that defendant shall be allowed to withdraw his guilty plea on count 30, and the state shall agree to null pros count 30. The special conditions of the sentence, as outlined in Section 3, are that defendant shall abide in full by each and all of the terms of this negotiated agreement. Defendant's failure to abide by any term of this agreement shall constitute a violation of the agreement. Defendant shall testify truthfully about all matters relating to this case upon which he is questioned at any trial or judicial proceeding stemming from the facts alleged in this indictment. In accordance with testifying truthfully about all matters relating to this case, defendant acknowledges that each and all of the statements contained within the defendant's factual acknowledgments section of this agreement are true. Defendant shall testify truthfully about each statement contained within defendant's factual acknowledgments and any matters related to this case when asked to do so in any proceeding related to the facts alleged in this indictment. Defendant shall possess no guns unless his right to do so is restored. Defendant shall commit no criminal acts. Defendant shall submit to random drug screenings by the Department of Community Supervision and any agency designated by the court in this case. Should the defendant test positive for any Schedule 1, 2, or 3 drug, defendant shall within 30 days of said positive test undergo drug rehabilitation as designated by the court or the Department of Community Supervision and shall successfully complete said rehabilitation program. Defendant relinquishes any Fifth Amendment right related to any statement contained within defendant's factual acknowledgments contained within this plea agreement. Section 4, defendant's factual acknowledgments. Have you initialed each and all of the defendant's factual acknowledgments contained within Section 4 of this document?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that initial AS your initial?
Yes, ma'am.